Today, I will answer a very pressing question many new diabetics have. Can diabetics drink alcohol? I will not only answer that question, but at the very end, I'll give you a tip or two on what I drink or what I request when I'm in those social settings that we all have to face. And let's just say this. After being diagnosed as a diabetic about 4 or 5 years ago, drinking alcohol it's pretty rare for me. I may have 2 to 5 drinks a year, and that's about it. But the reality is, we don't live in a bubble. And at social events, they will revolve around food and drink. So it's inevitable as a diabetic that we will have those days where alcohol will be served. So if you're new to the Resilient Diabetic, my name is Jay Sampat, and I welcome you. And this is where we turn ordinary, struggling diabetics into extraordinary, well-controlled diabetics. So, it's the holidays, Christmas, New Year's. You're going to a social event, a wedding, special dinner, and there will be alcohol served. So, the $1,000,000 question. How will alcohol affect you as a diabetic? Can I have a drink or two? But before we begin, that question must be asked to your doctor first. Are you healthy enough at your current state to be drinking alcohol? And only your doctor can answer that. Your main question as a diabetic is which way that drink is going to move your blood sugars. Depending on numerous factors, your blood sugars can actually go in two different directions. It can go up, or it can crash and crash hard. And what are they? First, what you ate. Really important. 2, are you on insulin? Are you on an oral medication, a sensitizer? And most importantly, what's in your alcohol? So let's start off with those effects that can drop blood sugars and fast. Drinking alcohol can cause a drop in blood sugars because remember, alcohol blocks the production of glucose into the liver. Now, the liver stores glucose and releases it when you're not eating to stabilize blood sugars. Some points to really understand here. The pancreas controls blood sugars when you're in the fed state, and the liver in the non-fed state. But here's the thing. The liver has a very limited, and the key word here is limited, storage capacity of glucose. And it releases it at times such as night when you're not eating. Once the liver's glucose stores have been used up and a person's been drinking alcohol, the liver doesn't have any more to uptake. Why? Because it's still in that process of detoxifying the alcohol. So in those scenarios, it can lead to very, very, very dangerous low blood sugar levels. Now, if one adds insulin to the equation, and they're not eating, and the liver has no more glucose stores, you can see what happens. Severe hypoglycemia. Now, one also has to take into account the oral medications. Those stimulate the pancreas to produce insulin. Just like taking straight insulin, that could lead to hypoglycemia too. The next question we have to ask, which influences blood sugar, what alcohol is consumed and with what mixer? That's critical. So light beers and dry wines generally have the fewest calories and the least amount of carbs than other alcoholic drinks. Distilled spirits, vodka, rum, whiskey, have 0 carbs. However, the mixers that you put in there, such as vodka and orange juice, will raise blood sugars. Liquors neat, on the rocks, or with a splash of lemon lime are good options. You can use sugar-free mixers such as diet sodas, tonic water, club soda, and seltzer water. Those will not raise your blood sugars. just 2 ounces, a quarter cup of sweet and sour mix. And those are usually mixed for your whiskey sours, your daiquiris, your margaritas. They'll have about 17 grams of carbs. Now the cream liquors, your amarettos, will always have sugar added. Lastly, remember, alcoholic drinks contain calories. For instance, 1 pint of lager is equivalent to a slice of pizza. Now, onto some tips. If you have diabetes, do not drink on an empty stomach or when your blood glucose levels are low. If you choose to drink, have it with food. This is really important for those of us who are, such as myself, that are on insulin or other diabetic medications that lower blood glucose. Don't skip a meal if you're going to drink. Now, this one is really important. If you're in a setting and you're drinking alcohol and nobody is aware that you are diabetic, I would suggest, or many suggest, that you wear a diabetic ID or bracelet. Why? Because hypoglycemia can be mistaken for being drunk. Right? Watch out for those craft beers, which can have twice the amount of alcohol and calories as light beer. Lastly, of course, without saying, don't drink and drive. Some recent studies have shown that alcohol increases appetite in some people. It's not rocket science. Well, yeah, duh. What these studies do show, though, however, is that there's a greater intake of about 300 to 400 calories when people drink. And for some, including myself, that's probably the hardest part, because you're going to want to crave something salty, something high in carbohydrates because of the alcohol. And what's that going to do? It's going to drive up blood sugars. The whole point is that you've got to be diligent and you have to test blood sugars often. So, what is my go-to drink? I do enjoy your rum, your Bacardi, and Diet Coke from time to time. But I will tell you this. It does drive my blood sugars down. So, whenever I do drink, which is rare, I have to carefully balance out my food intake and then also readjust my insulin down, both my fast and short acting. So those are all the different factors that come into play when we as diabetics drink. So if you found this episode helpful, I need you to hit those alerts, that gray button. That's the one right down the top of your screen, the subscribe button. And if you like what you heard today, please, the like button. It is super important for us new channels. The more you hit those alerts, the more YouTube's algorithm, this little computer that runs YouTube, promotes this channel. Thus, the more diabetics get to see it. That's why I always ask. Now, I'm also curious to know, how does your body handle alcohol? Which do you find to be the best when drank in moderation? And please feel free to mention those in the comments below. If there are any other social topics related to diabetes that you would love for me to cover, also please feel free to mention those too in the comment section. So, have a great day, a productive week, and we'll see you soon with another new episode, usually weekly. Bye for now.